Welcome back to Mesh Talk with NickiiJean, and I have like one of my favorite people here. So I have to introduce you guys. The one and only Miss Tasha Holderman is in the building. Okay.
Hey, I paid her to say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was worth it all. Guys, okay, I need to give you a rundown. We all know the purpose of Mesh Talk. We're here to uplift, motivate, connect, and through a connection that I had in the industry, I came across Tasha, and we've been friends.
I don't know,
10 years?
Yeah, has it been almost 10 years?
It's been 10 years. I've been gone 7, so I feel like it's been at least
almost
10.
Yeah, for sure.
We met in I was hosting a fashion show, or actually putting on my own fashion show, and needed a makeup artist last minute in LA. You did makeup and hair.
I just did your makeup.
Just did my makeup.
Show. Yeah.
Okay, and then we connected again. We did some stuff during Fashion Week, I feel like. And
I did your makeup a few more times.
And then she just loved me. And then she just
I think it was the other way around. But,
But yeah, so that's how we met, through a connection, and that's what Mesh is all about. So, hey friend, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. You look great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. You're not going to acknowledge the fact that you're working with Mesh also through another connection? That's another connection.
You are right. Yes. And I feel like people have figured out, if you pay attention to Mesh and if you paid attention to the first season, yes, many, many connections, from Hesna to John to Michael. Like, it was just loads of connections, and we are just continuously like connecting, I feel like, with the podcast. That's the purpose. And we're hoping that with our connections that we make, we can connect with the community. So yeah, bars dropped. But okay, let's talk about it, friend. Okay.
All right.
I know the story, but like everyone needs to know the story.
Do you really know the story?
we're gonna, I feel like I'm hoping that like I figure out something that I've never known. So, born and raised.
Born in Minnesota.
Okay.
Grew up in San Diego.
Right.
Yeah, I traveled a lot with my mom.
Okay.
I did a lot of art shows.
Yeah.
And it's kind of where my artistic background comes from. Is my mom and we were traveling around like two gypsy hippies doing different arts and craft shows, and then we ended up in San Diego.
Okay, and you guys stayed there the longest, I feel like?
San Diego's the longest. Well, outside of LA now at this point, but yeah.
But that like introduced you, like as far as like just staying in one state or location?
Yeah, I got to San Diego when I was in elementary school, so 5th grade.
Okay, and so you did your whole elementary, high school.
Yeah, I did elementary, middle school, high school, all in San Diego. The cosmetology school I went to was J Boutique. It's in La Mesa, California.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew from a young age? Like, where did like just hair and makeup come from?
No, it was just more so like I was always doing arts and crafts and very artistic. And my mom had, we made a lot of like bracelets and tie-dyed shirts and just, a lot of like arts and crafts and stuff. So I think from a young age, I just kind of had like that eye and attention to detail.
Okay.
But I didn't realize until I was in San Diego and I started doing face painting and henna.
Okay, yeah. I did not know this.
Yeah, so my mom was called the Bubble Lady, and she worked at Balboa Park. Yeah, in San Diego, Balboa Park, and she would make these really big bubbles, and all the kids would come around. And so my mom actually did face painting too, but then she taught me. So she would do the bubbles and like bring the kids, and she'd do balloons.
It's a family
little
business
character
for
balloons,
me.
and then I do face painting
and
henna. And so from that, I feel like that kind of transitioned me into like the face and the face structure and different color palettes. And so then when I was trying to figure out, what I really wanted to do, I had always done my friends' makeup and hair, braids, more so braids and makeup when I was coming up in high school. And my mom was like, well, if anything, start there, start going to cosmetology school because you'll always be valuable. Because you have a trade and people always want to look good.
Right.
And I was really set on just wanting to do makeup. Which makes sense later, but it's funny. I was so set on doing makeup and that was my plan.
Okay.
Not the plan, but it was my plan. And my mom was like, no, you really should do both. You should go to cosmetology school, get your full cosmetology license. Because to be a makeup artist, you don't need to have a cosmetology license. But to do hair, you do.
Okay.
And so my mom
to
was
work
like, no,
inside of a salon or like
to work inside of a salon. I mean, you can do makeup inside of a salon with just like, you don't have to be certified. You don't have to go to state board. But to work doing hair, you absolutely have to be licensed. And to work in the union doing hair, you absolutely have to be licensed.
Okay.
You do not have to be licensed as a makeup artist in the union.
Whoa. You just taught me something new. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, okay. Because what? I didn't know that. And for you to, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to learn some new things. Okay. So you came, so now did your licensing back home and then...
And then I tried to move to LA. I came out here my first go. I was maybe in LA for under a year.
Okay.
It was hard. What
does that look like, you moving here? What made you make the decision to actually come the first time?
I just knew that what I wanted was something bigger than San Diego could offer me.
Okay.
San Diego is really great if you want to work in a salon behind a chair. You can really build a life for yourself doing that. But I knew I wanted to work in television. I knew I wanted to do red carpet. I really thought I wanted to just do like magazine photography and
wait, when you say photography,
I mean, I thought I just wanted to do like
the glam
for like magazines and commercials. I still like commercials.
Okay.
But I thought that's the route that I wanted to go initially. And I knew to do that, I had to be in LA.
Okay. So, okay. So then you said, okay, I'm going to LA this first time.
Yeah, like right out of cosmetology school, like right after I got my state board, I was like, I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to move to LA. I told my mom, I'm like, how do we make this work? I actually stayed with my friend at her dorm. This is the struggle. I stayed in her dorm and everybody thought that I actually was from Cal State LA.
We always have a friend that... Listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stayed with her in her dorm.
Shout out to the friend. We love that.
Thank you. Yeah, Rochelle.
Hey, Rochelle.
Thanks, we love you.
Waist beads.
Yes.
Rochelle went to... That's the connection?
Yeah. Wasted spiritually. We'll just put that out there because that's what she's referring to. The waist beads.
The waist
But yeah, she held me down. And so I was able to build a lot of networks and connections, which I feel like was a very important part of my journey.
Okay.
But I did have to go back to San Diego after being in LA. Initially, for that first year, I went back to San Diego and worked with somebody who I met at a hair show.
Why did you go back to San Diego?
Because the money wasn't
You're
money.
Living in the dorm.
The coins were not coining.
The coins were not
I needed to not be in my friend's dorm anymore. I had tried to move out and I was still working at the same place. And where I was working, I just wasn't making enough money. And the struggle just got a little too hard. If anybody knows, living in LA, I got a lot of parking tickets. It was very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I had to go back to San Diego. I went back there and I worked with my mentor, Curtis Venters.
Hey, mentor, we love you.
For about 7 to 8 months. Yeah, and it was a great experience. I felt like it was all part of like what needed to happen. Right. Because he did teach me a lot of valuable things as far as like timing and how to get through a client quick and booking and just customer service and confidence. And I would like to think I taught him a few things too, but
it's a give and take.
Definitely it was something that I needed to do before I could go back to LA and really smash it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've moved to LA twice.
Yeah. So then after those 7 or 8 months, give or take, I was still kind of traveling back up to LA, nurturing relationships. But then
when you were traveling back and forth, what exactly were you doing in that travel? Were you actually working, getting
I was
booked,
actually,
or like...
I mean, sometimes I would be working. I would, take clients or take events or jobs from people that I had met while I was out there. Or I was just going out there for events that I was invited to just because I knew it was important to go and meet with that person and kind of keep my name fresh within their brain, for other things. So when I could.
And then... So now we've worked. We're solid in LA. We figured it out, I mean, were more comfortable.
The second round was a lot.
Round.
Yeah, it was a lot easier. I worked at a blow dry bar for a while. I was a trainer for 2 locations. So I was training and hiring and training for 2 locations.
So
and that's kind
you're managing.
I was, yeah. And that's where I learned like my real love for education.
Oh.
Was through that. Like it's you get so much back from it. Like seeing somebody struggle with something and trying to figure out how, what their learning curve is, and then seeing them flourish was something that I was like, oh, okay, education. Cool. I really like that. So I did that for a while, and I did actually build a clientele from there, and that's where I build my freelance clientele.
Okay.
Initially from, and just working with different people, and then I had worked with the makeup artist that, we worked together a couple times. The energy was really good, and she had an opportunity for me to go work at ESPN.
Let's talk about it.
And that was kind of like the game changer.
I remember this. We had just moved into our... But just so you guys know, we really know each other. But
you want to talk about a struggle?
Yeah, let's soup together, okay?
Yeah.
And so we had just moved into were you working at ESPN before we moved into our apartment, or?
I think I had just got the opportunity because I was still freelance.
Yes.
I was still working with another company where I was going to people's houses, and then I was taking my own personal clients as well, which I had a few that were, doing really well. And then I got this opportunity to go work at ESPN.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then at ESPN, you were there for about 2.5 years.
I think I did about 2.5 years. Yeah.
And your experience there, what made you transition? How... Obviously, you transitioned, as we said, 2.5 years. There was a stop. There was a beginning and a stop. So, to what's next? What happened after ESPN?
I went to the union.
Exactly.
So, So it was about 2.5 years because I did the long route getting into the union, which is 60-60-60. It means
Wait, can we rewind? What's the union?
Yeah.
For people that don't know what the union is, what is the union?
The union basically is a company that... or an organization, I should say, that advocates and runs hair and makeup. I mean, actually, the union is very broad. A union basically just says this group of workers, we're going to make sure that, they're getting their workers' rights.
Right.
Essentially. So I'm in the Hair and Makeup Artists Union, which is Local 706.
Okay.
And that is for working in television and commercials and movies.
Okay. Why? What made you go into the union?
Well, like I said, when I first initially moved to LA from San Diego, I knew I wanted something bigger, and I knew I wanted to work on TV. And that's the only way that you can work on TV. You have to be in the union. So
there's no way you can freelance and find your way on shows.
I mean, you can maybe do like a Toomey or a what? Toomey or
what is this?
I don't know, whatever. Tubi, is that what it is? Guys, don't kill me.
Tubi. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I know
like
what you're talking
streaming
about.
or any major production.
Didn't
any
know
major
that.
productions, you have to be in the union even to set foot onto set.
Okay. Which, we like that. So then you got into the union. How was that? What's the requirements to get into the union?
So like I was saying, I got in the 60-60-60. There's a couple different ways that you can get in. But I did 60-60-60, which means you basically are doing 60 days a year. And you're doing that for 3 years within a 5-year time span. So you have 5 years to get that done.
60 days within a year.
60 days in a year.
Okay.
Yeah, that are qualifying projects.
Okay.
They have to be qualifying projects.
Okay.
I know it sounds easy. It's really not that easy.
I can imagine. So,
60 days is actually hard.
How long have you been?
Yeah. How long have I been in the union? I've been in the union for, I think I'm going on 4.5 years. It's kind of hard because right after I got in, maybe a couple years that I was in, everything happened with COVID, so we shut down. Yes. So, but I think it's like 4.5 years.
Okay.
Like that.
And so what was like yes, I hear what you're saying. I hear that you're saying, well, I always knew that this is what I wanted to do, but that's easier said than done. Always knowing. What was like the turning point for you to actually say, I am going to actively move towards
getting into the
union?
Well, getting the job at ESPN played a big part. I kind of just checked it up. I was like, okay, this just seems really hard. Every time I did my research, which you guys can research, actually Contract Services is the company, that's the organization that does making sure all your paperwork is together. And they'll tell you whether or not you qualify to get into the union. So I had did all my research and I was like, wow, this just seems really hard. And I don't know that I'm going to ever be able to get into something consistently for 3 years, doing 60 days. And so when I got into ESPN, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be able to get my hours. And then I was asking around, like, is this really going to be worth it? And I actually ended up meeting my mentor, Nicole Jones, the past late Nicole Jones.
Yes.
I met her at ESPN and she was like, we need you. We need really good, talented hairstylists who aren't quote unquote crazy or, just people who are going to show up and be professional. She saw my skill set and she saw how I worked with the talent. And she was like, I really think it would be good for you to get in. Actually, she said, please get in and I will make sure that I keep you working. And she kept her word.
Yay.
She really kept her word when I got in. Yeah.
And that's just based off of just like connection. This is how important connections are.
Yeah. So, and that connection played such a big role in all of the work that I did. I got a department head position pretty quick.
Because that's what I wanted to talk about next.
Yeah.
Is like, okay.
So I got that because of her saying, hey,
referring.
Yes, Tasha's in the union. Please use her. She's a great hairstylist. Anytime somebody would ask her like, hey, can you work on such and such? No, I can't. But Tasha can.
Wow,
and she's great.
friend.
And so,
that's like, not a lot of people vouch for people, I feel like, because sometimes people don't show up.
No, well, because, I take my referrals very seriously.
Right. As you should.
Because it's a reflection of you. It's like if something goes wrong with that person, inevitably they're going to come back to you and say, hey,
why did you refer this person?
This happened. XYZ happened. This is a little weird. Did you know about this? And you look a little wild referring that person. So, I loved her for that. And even when I did get my department head position, she was there for me. And any time I had a question of, how to run the department, because I didn't have a bunch of experience. Okay. ESPN is live TV, so it's very different. There's no continuity. There's no reading a script.
Oh, okay. And so this is what this requires. If you working in the union now, is like you reviewing the script based on hair and what the requirement. How do you, when reviewing the script, like what are you looking for when you're reviewing the script?
When you're looking at the script, you're trying to see how many people are in the scene. Okay. Because that kind of controls your mandates, which are how many people you need to hire on that day if you don't already have enough people equipped. You're also looking to see like what's going on with the hair. Are they asleep? Are they getting it wet? Are they the anticipation of it all? Because just because it's in the script in a certain way doesn't mean that that's how they shoot it. They shoot it very randomly. So that's like the continuity part, is like being able to say like, okay, the hair was wet in this scene and maybe it's a little more dry in this scene. And then taking that over to when they give you the actual breakdown of how it's going to be shot and like
that makes
figuring out where those pieces go.
That makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
We've never discussed this deeply about that. That makes sense.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, so like you mentioned you being the head. What did you
a department
head?
Yeah.
How many roles? I know that I'm still learning the union through like communicating with you, and we've been friends for a very long time. And you think I would know it, but I just don't. There's just like so much to it. So there's the union, right? But there's different roles that are available for hairstylists. Yes. Right. So what are those roles?
So the main roles are department head, who's like the main person who's doing the hiring. They're reading the script. They're saying, I want the person to look like this. I want the hair to look like that. Okay. Unless there's a hair designer. Sometimes there's also a hair designer, which is a person above, one step above the department head, and they'll tell the department head like, hey, we want it to look like this. Or they may even actually do the design and then say, we need you to execute XYZ. But for the most part, the department head is the one who says, this is how the hair needs to look. And then you'll have the key department. Okay. who works alongside of the department head. You kind of think of that as like the assistant manager.
Okay.
And then you can have a third or a fourth, which just means the third is right after the key, which means if the key can't do it, the third is there to do it. Or if the key is not on set or department head is not on set, then the third is like making sure everything needs to be taken care of the way it should, and the fourth's on. Then you also have day players who come on for the days when there's like a lot of background, or we have a scene where there's like a ton of cast.
Makes sense.
And we don't have.
We just need the hands.
We need the extra hands.
I want to rewind. Actually, I introduced you as like hair and makeup, right? But in the union, you only focus on hair.
Yeah.
Can we talk about like why you focus on hair and how that just like, how was that?
How did I make my decision? It wasn't easy because I told you in the beginning, right, that I really thought I wanted to do makeup and I really wanted to be a makeup artist. And that was great and all. And I continued to do that with my freelance business and hair too. Hair just seemed to be more consistent. And then when I met Nicole, she actually told me like, no, you need to get in for hair. We need more people. We need more good people. And when you think about it, it makes sense, right? Because makeup artists don't need to go through the whole rigorous process of becoming licensed. So there's a ton of makeup artists, and there's not quite as many hairstylists. So the need is more. And that's how I made the decision. She was like, no, stay in for hair. Yeah.
Why do you think she said we need more? Because like, I'm just being honest, like first of all, I have not just done all the things in the industry, but yes, I have like been on set, and, you know, hairstylists and makeup artists are important for me as I'm walking around. I'm like, okay, who's black? I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
You know, who can do it? Who is capable of this? And do you feel like that played a role? Or do you think that hair was just like, no, we really just need hairstylists?
No. I mean, yeah. Yes and no. They did really need just good professional hairstylists and people who knew how to do a lot of different textures. Definitely played a role. And when I first got into the union, sure, I was definitely like, it was a thing. Like, oh, Tasha, she's great with texture.
Yeah.
Like it kind of just came with the referral. Like, oh, yeah, use Tasha. She's great with texture.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I mean, I felt like it was a cliche question or obvious question, but you never know. Yeah. So that's kind of why I asked that. Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about like the different, like, okay, we talked about the different roles. And I'm assuming, and I'm just, I know my friend guys, but you played several different roles, right?
Yes.
So you've done, you know, key to third to, you know, controlling the whole scenario.
Yeah.
You know, what would you say would be the most stressful role?
Department head is definitely.
I figured.
Department head, I mean, key can be the most stressful also. If your department head is like, I'm only going to do XYZ and I'm just going to put it on the key, that's kind of up to the department head to say how much control they want to have and how much they just want to give to the key. Okay. Some department heads, they want all the control. Some department heads want to be able to delegate, and some department heads want to give all of that away, and they literally just want to do hair. Yeah, and they want to give all of the managerial like stuff up, because there's a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with hair that goes into being a department head. I'm sure. It's the budget. It's like making sure everybody's products are stocked, tools are stocked, all of the talent is happy, all the people coming in are happy. What are their needs when they're coming in? Because you have guest stars coming in, you know, hiring more people. There's a lot that goes into the department head position for not that much more pay.
I mean, and so that was another question I was going to ask you. Like, which one would you prefer? Which role would you prefer?
It depends on your department head. It depends on your department head.
But like, let's say I say, Tasha, we got the NickiiJean show. What without you knowing what it is, what would you prefer?
Well, I mean, because I know you, you know, you get to be a little more selective. Because I know you, I'd want to department head it.
Okay. And you get those type of projects where you do know who's on the project for the most, kind of.
Yeah, where you know who's on the project, you know, key players in the production as far as like the director and the DP, which is the director of photography. or the UPM, which is the unit production manager, you get to know those people and know like, okay, this person like makes my life easier.
Okay.
Or, oh, this person makes
I can work
my
with
job
this
that
person.
much more harder. I don't want to do department head, but
Okay.
hey, what's that key position looking like?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Mhm.
I've heard you talk about it, but like, you know, like properly
Yeah.
understanding it. As we did some research, as if I don't know you, but you know, we, you know, had to dig a little deeper, and you like really put emphasis on like just professionalism.
Yeah.
I would love to know why that was just like so important for you. Why is that so important for you?
Because I feel like that's what really took me from one job to the next. Because the union, I think a big misconception is that the union finds you jobs, and they don't. The union literally is there to say, hey, this person has done the amount of jobs and is qualified to come in and work. This person is in good standing. They've made their payments. They can come on to set and they can work. But they really don't give you work. They don't
Got
hire
it.
you.
People assume that. Even I thought like,
Yeah.
oh, you get in, you sign, you good.
Yeah.
You're good.
No,
Just
that's not what
kidding.
happens.
Okay.
You really have to get in, and it's like a big network. Like
Mhm.
you know, you have to navigate and find like your circle is what
Okay.
I say. Your circle is so important. So that you're not working in situations where you're driving to work every day and you're like, ugh, I'm going to have a bad day at
Yeah,
work
because
today.
then why do
You
we
want to
go?
go and work with people who are like-minded, whatever that looks like. And so just to say, my professionalism, I feel like, made me attractive to all circles. So I kind of got to pick and choose where I wanted to go. When I got
Awesome.
into the union, I worked on a lot of different shows. I day played and hopped around and, you know, got to meet a lot of different people and decide what I wanted my,
Yeah.
you know, my crew to be.
And it's okay to say no.
It
It's
is
okay
absolutely
to say no.
1000% okay
Yeah.
to say no.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know what to say no
Yeah.
to and
Yeah.
what to say yes to. And don't say yes to things that don't feed you and
Yeah.
don't make you
Yeah.
feel whole and like you're learning something. Because I mean, I'll do a project that maybe has a very low budget, but it's something I'm interested
Right.
in, like it's
Right.
cool, or the
Right.
hair is creative, or I get to work with somebody who I haven't worked with before, or I might take a really low on the podium
Yeah.
you know, job because I want to work with
Yeah.
that specific department head,
There's still
because
a
I want to
benefit for
see,
you. Yeah.
I want to see how that department head works.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really know how to run a department
Yeah.
until you see different department
Yeah.
heads
Yeah.
running the
Yeah. Yeah.
department. There's no book, there's no
Yeah.
online course, really, maybe coming soon,
Hey.
that tells you
Yeah.
how to, you know,
Mhm.
run your department, or
Mhm.
how to go in and be a
Yeah.
good key and support your department
Yeah.
head, or, you know, what your roles are as a third. So it really depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we definitely need to have that little business talk, because I think we need to write a book, friend.
Oh.
Okay. So let's talk about like just some, as we're wrapping up, I want to talk about like, you know, your recent project that you were just on. First
Yes.
of all, I always hear her talk about, this is the show I'm on, this is the show I'm on. And so I finally had an opportunity to check out The Unicorn. That was one of the shows that you did a while ago.
Yes. That was my first department head.
That's my friend.
job.
You hear that?
Yeah. That was, I love that show. I actually did the pilot, so it was really dear to me. I did the pilot as a key from a department head that I had worked with on Young Sheldon. This is how everything comes together.
Exactly.
She was a key on Young Sheldon. She got asked to department head this job. I did the pilot with her. When it came time it got picked up, and they asked her department head. She said she did not want to. She wanted to go back to Young Sheldon because whatever reason, it just, you know, the pay, the hours, whatever looked better for her. And she said, you know, let's see if Tasha can do it. And the UPM took, you know, a bet on me basically, and was like, hey, would you be interested? And so, I did 2 seasons of department heading The Unicorn.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was I think I was in the union for like a year.
Wow.
I know.
That is a prime example of like how connections are way more important than the skill. And not to say that you didn't deserve that opportunity, right? But like it was the connection that really got you the job, and the skill played it out.
The skill kept me there. Because the recommendation got me there, but then the skill, the clients being happy, or the talent, the actors being happy, them being happy with me and my skill set, and it's a lot to do with energy too.
Yeah.
So that's why I think just being professional is also important, because you want to have a good time, but you just also want to still be asked back, and you'll get asked back faster if you're just I'm here, I'm just here to do what you want me to do, no ego. You'll be asked back. You'll be asked back. And two, then other people around see, because day players, there may be somebody who's working on another project or getting ready for another project who's just trying to day play in the meantime. And they're like, hey, I love the way you work. Would you be interested in coming on my show? Or would you be interested in coming on my project?
Yeah.
That's actually how I got onto The Rookie.
I was literally about to bring up The Rookie, right? So The Rookie is like the last project that you worked on. Okay, for people that don't know, because we talked about it in the studio. Okay, I'm like, this is my friend. She's coming on. And the guys were like, oh, The Rookie? I love that show. So what's The Rookie? How long have you been on the show?
So The Rookie is a cop show. Basically, that's the premise. Is It's a cop show, and the cop, the main head cops, they have rookies that come on. And it's basically about different, cases that they're cracking. And the way that I got brought onto the show was I was working on another show. The Good Place was the first show I actually worked as a permanent. And I met a lady there. She was day playing. And I mean, this is years later that she got asked to do The Rookie. And she called me and she was like, I instantly thought of you. Yeah.
Based on just
based on seeing how I worked with my talent, and seeing how my demeanor was on set. And so I forgot she even had got my information, to be honest with you. And we worked great together. We did 8 months on The Rookie. It was season 5. This is my first season. I came on and keyed with Nakata. And so, we had a great run. Nice. 8 months is a really long time, but it was so much fun. Yeah.
What do you think was the highlight of your experience on The Rookie? The funniest, because, on the Unicorn, you would tell me like all these funny stories. I remember like they dressed up in like big, like 3D unicorns, right?
That was behind the scenes.
Right? But you have just as much as fun, right? So what would you say is like a highlight of your Rookie experience?
Ooh, a highlight of my Rookie experience. I don't know. You know what? It's a highlight not because it was anything like super fun and amazing, but like we were working outside in the rain. These rainy days.
They were real.
Listen, those were real rainy nights that we did for you guys. The stands of the rain.
Yes. We're trying to entertain
we were out there, right. We were out there cold, one heater, all hugged around. But no, I think it was just a great experience overall. It's one of the shows, and it's funny for me to say this because it was 8 months. It's a long time, but I was sad for it to be over because just everybody, the cast was so amazing. They made our job so fun. Yeah. The crew was so nice. Everybody, it was like a family. It was very respectful. Like when we came back from holiday hiatus, everybody was just catching up like, hey, how did you
do?
How was your trip? Or did you get to go see your family? Like everybody remembered, and it's just, it's a big family on that show. I do really love it. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm very proud
sad to
of
wrap
you.
that up.
I know she just wrapped it up, 2 weeks ago?
A week and a half.
A week and a half.
2 weeks ago.
About a week ago.
Sorry.
Okay, so you wrapped up. We're wrapping up now, but you wrapped up with, The Rookie. What do you do in between?
You rest. You rest, or you can day play, or you can go on to another project. It's kind of slow right now, and everybody's trying to figure out what's happening. There's like a strike currently, possibly. Writer strike that
Yikes.
could be happening.
Another one?
Yeah, so we're just all kind of waiting to
That's
see what's
not
happening with
okay.
that. I know. But I don't have anything lined up right now.
Okay.
I'm just right now I'm going back to like freelance
Yeah.
clients and stuff like that. So
And it just happens. I mean, as long as you've been in the union, as long as I've watched you in the union, you just randomly get these blessings and you get a call and you're like, all right, well, Nick, guess what? I'm doing this show now. So
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, Fran, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Okay. I mean, as we're wrapping up, you know, there was a quote that you know, highlighted. And
Yes.
this happens. Listen, teachers, educators, you really affect your students like big time. And so this is a quote from a teacher. I want to read it and make sure that I correctly read it. This quote, and you can talk about who it's from and all the things, but I want to just talk about the quote or state the quote. Don't take anything as a loss. Take it as a gift. If you're able to take it as a gift of what didn't work and make it better, then it wasn't just a loss. Yeah. Why is that so important to you?
Well, it was from a teacher when I was in cosmetology school, and she was like this really good hair cutter, and I wanted to be such a good hair cutter too. And it just made sense to me because, you know, when you're going from school and you're going out into being into a salon or, you know, whatever avenue you decide to go in, you get a lot of criticism and you get a lot of learning experiences. And I've learned to call them learning experiences because if you're not learning anything from it, then what was that experience for you? You had that hardship or you're just going to do it again. You know what I mean? So you want to be able to like learn from that experience. And so I think that that's why it stuck with me so much is because it's just like learn the lesson and then move on. Learn the gift, learn the lesson, keep it moving. Yeah.
Love
and
that.
It's okay.
Love that. To be honest, I have watched your career grow from the past, 10 years. And, you know, it totally makes sense that, you know, that is your quote. You know, honestly, it just says a lot. As if I be
keeping it moving.
Absolutely.
Like, and you have to,
friend.
Though. But
Goodness.
you have to
you
because
do.
you can't take things
I
too
be
personally.
wanting to cry and do all the other things, and you just want to keep it moving. That's easier said than done.
Yeah, shed a couple tears and then, you know, because it's a part of life. And if you're not just taking it and giving yourself some grace and gratitude for the experience, giving yourself some grace, learning your lesson, and then you take that into the next experience and the next time you kill it.
Yeah.
What can you do? It already happened.
Exactly. For sure.
Most you can do is learn.
Yeah. And I feel like this is literally what she says to me all the time. So thanks for coming.
Thanks for
sharing your story, you know, like on the, you know, the crown. So everybody can.
Yes. And you know what, you guys, please feel free to DM me if you need, have any questions about getting into the union. I know we kind of skimmed over the process of how to get into it. There are other ways to get in than the way I went in, but feel free to DM me. My Instagram is at Tasha, _moi, like a kiss, MUAH. And ask me any questions. I'm very open. And any resources that I have are yours.
I mean, and that's the purpose. That's really the purpose of Mesh in general. We want to like introduce people like you to other people that are interested in doing the things that you're doing and not sure how to take the steps. And so if we could just give a few nuggets and just motivate and help someone to like, don't give up. No, keep doing.
Keep going, you guys. Going. If anything, I came to LA, didn't work, came back. Second
more
time.
Than once. Yes.
Just got to stay. And the second time when I came, it still wasn't easy to get to this point. It still took more years. So
nothing is easy.
No, 10,000 hours to become a master.
And so, and that's like a whole nother.
Keep sharpening them tools.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, friend, thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I love you more.
Mesh time by NickiiJean. That's my friend.
Guys, you heard her. Check in. Guys, we went over it. I had to go over, but we went over a bit because there was just so much information that needed to be given to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Any questions, as she said, you can hit her up on Instagram in regards to how to get into the union. If you're already in the union, I'm pretty sure that she'll be able to just, help you navigate through that. And also, if you're a creative and you would like to share your story, or if you would like to submit someone to share their story, you know where to find us at meshclctv.com. I'm NickiiJean, and thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Mesh.
Mesh Talk is created and produced by The Mesh Collective.